Hi, I'm Sinye Kiesel. Lance has sent me to Ontario, California to the Hudson Essex Terraplane Western Regional Meet. Today we're going to see some really amazing cars and talk to some great people. So let's get going. Hi, I'm with Red Burke, and he has a 1919 Essex. Red, tell me a little bit about your vehicle.
Well, Hudson in 1919 decided to build a cheaper model car to compete with the Model T Ford that Henry was building. And the engineers came up with this model, and it was so much better than the Model T in those days that one year they almost outsold the Model T Ford. And like I said, it had features that were so much better, and there was only $100 difference in price. It was $100 more than the Model T, and people would buy this car rather than the Ford, and it would go faster, it had better brakes, it was more reliable and safer, and Hudson sold a lot of these cars, and the 1919 was basically the best car that Hudson has ever built.
And I understand that the Hudson name, the Essex, you know where that comes from, right?
Well, they were wanting a name that would give the car a little pizzazz or a little prestige, and one of the engineers or executives came up and he said, you know, there's a section of England that's real exclusive sort of, and it's called Essex. He said, why don't we name it Essex? And that supposedly is the way the name Essex got attached to the car.
And how did you get attached to this car?
Well, I was in Reno to a car show, and a fella had this car restored by a man who worked for Harrah's Collection. So we bought it in Reno, And I had to go all the way home and get my trailer, go back and pick it up that next day and take it home. And we had it about 23 years.
Oh my goodness. And have you done all the restoration since on it?
It was almost in this condition when I bought it. There was no top on it. And there's quite a story about that. There was no top on it, and I started trying to find the top bows, and I was 6 years before I found them. I bought them, and my fellow that does my upholstery on all my cars built the top and put it on. And there was one or two other small parts missing that took me several years to find, because these cars are pretty rare. They're scarce.
And I understand that there's some uniqueness with your engine too. There's a good story there.
This engine was designed and built especially for this car, and it's a four-cylinder, and it's what they called an F-head, and the intake valves are in the cylinder head and the exhausts are in the block. A very successful engine, and Hudson carried it on into their big cars for several years. And some other companies built cars with the F-head engines. The normal engine is called L-head, and it has all the valves in the block and a flat head. But this has the tappets and all up on the top. And a very strange thing here, the oil pump in this motor only pumps 2 pounds of pressure, and the oil goes up for the connecting rods to splash through. And they provided no way for the oil to come up to the tappets on the top of the cylinder head. So they put these little valve cups on top that you pull up and put an oil can in there and fill them full of oil, and it drips down on the rockers to keep them from sticking and freezing up. It's very unique.
How often do you have to fill them up on top?
Well, the owner's manual says if you're driving real hard and fast, you should do it every 100 miles. Fill those little cups with oil. But if you're just cruising around town, you can go 200 to 300 miles before you have to fill those little cups.
Well, thank you very much, Red. I really love your car. It's got a great, interesting engine, and thanks a lot for sharing your story with us.